You are not in favour of forcing MPs to return to Westminster, Robert?
No. Let me be clear. I'm in favour of Parliament returning for a phased return. If we're asking schools to have a phased return, it's only right that Parliament sets an example. But what I am really dismayed about is the decision that MPs who are either sick, self-isolating or shielding will not have the rights to vote. So there will be disenfranchised and their constituents will be disenfranchised. And I find this decision quite extraordinary and unjust.
Does that include you?
It does. I feel that the people who've made this decision, they kind of think that the only people who can vote are people who are like Tarzan, can swing through the division lobbies, beating their chests in the division lobby, shouting to their constituents, look, I am here, I am here. Now, I'm working hard. There are many MPs who genuinely can't go in. I want to be a legislator. It is my right to be a legislator. I want to have the choice of whether to vote or not. And that is being taken away because of a lack of generosity of spirit, unfortunately, by those who are making this decision.
Okay, why are they trying to get you back in? Is it, just before you answer, is it that they actually feel they have much more control over their MPs, their potentially rebellious MPs, if they're there and they can strong-arm them in the corridors?
Well, as I say, I welcome the return, and I think there should be a phased return. I think those MPs who can go in should go in. But what there has to be is a sense of fairness to those who genuinely are unable to do so because of the pandemic that is amongst us all. And I don't know why this decision has been made. There is a macho culture in Westminster. There's sometimes a lack of generosity of spirit and a lack of thought. And I think this decision has been made because people want to be able to say, go through the division lobby and say, look, as I say, like Tarzan, swinging through the lobby, beating their chest, saying, look, constituents, I am here. But actually what constituents really care about is whether or not we are able to vote. And what is mystifying to me is not only will I and many other MPs not be allowed an online vote, we won't even be allowed a proxy vote. So to get another MP to walk through the lobby to vote for us on our behalf. And it is entirely wrong. And I urge the government, my party, and the Leader of the House to reconsider this very unjust decision that is entirely not keeping with parliamentary traditions.
Is it entirely in keeping with their own guidelines? Because I thought, and I haven't looked at the actual wording, but I thought the advice was, if you can work at home, you should be working at home. You incidentally also should not be flipping between a second home and another residence. You should be staying in one residence. And it does seem as though it'd be quite hard for MPs to say that they should be, moving around the country, going on public transport or in taxis to get from A to B the whole time, given the guidelines and given that there is a system that works.
I accept that there are all those questions, but I do think that if we are saying to schools there should be a phased opening, a partial opening, I think also there should be a partial opening of Parliament, and MPs who can go in, who are not sick or self-isolating or shielding, should be able to go in. And I think to be fair to the Leader of the House, he did say that staff should stay at home. MPs' staff shouldn't be in the House of Commons. But nevertheless, there are those MPs who can't go in, and we want to do our jobs. We want to be legislators, and this is a very hard-hearted decision and has not been taken with care. They're denying me and others my legitimate rights as MP to be a legislator. We are in unprecedented times. It's not a normal parliament where you always get one or two people who may be sick for one reason or another. This is a significant amount of MPs, and we should be able to vote whether online or by proxy, and the government have got to reconsider this decision.
Can I ask whether you think there's a danger that in the early days of this pandemic, people think the government had just too lackadaisical an attitude to it, and that's potentially how it went rife through Downing Street itself. Is this an example of just not taking this seriously enough, and what social distancing has to mean for the next, maybe even a year or two, and just themselves kind of being a little bit too relaxed about it all?
I think that Parliament has to return. I think Parliament has to set an example to the nation. We are telling employees who have to go in to work, and I think it's wrong if Parliament at least doesn't have a phased return. I think MPs is the most important body in our nation. We make the laws. We have to set an example, but at the same time, we have to recognise this isn't a parliament, a euthanasia parliament, where you put MPs who are sick or not able to come in like old horses in the knacker's yard, and that seems to be the approach. It's a parliament for the Darwinian survival of the fittest, not the parliament for everybody.
Robert Halfon, thank you very much.